Thank you. Yeah.
Hello, Mr. President. My name is Devin Wilder, and I'm a teacher at Albert Hill Middle.
What do you teach?
I teach civics. I teach 8th graders.
This is a good thing. You'll be able to tell your class tomorrow that you.
Yes, actually, I have some questions.
Oh,
that
no.
I would love to give to you
all right.
from my students.
I will try to respond some of them.
Okay. Especially if you can send a picture and some autographs.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
I'm from an education family. My mother's a teacher. My husband's a teacher, also for the city at Thomas Jefferson High School, and I'm a mother of 3. And the main focus has been on the middle class and the poor. But what about working class families that seem to be on the fringe, not able to get a lot of these incentives and other programs of help? Child care is a major issue. Education for our children. Proper nutrition, being able to afford proper food is an issue for working families. What is the government going to do for that? And then I also have another question I could ask about the education reforms that you're going to do. A lot of my students are concerned about those education reforms, and they would like some explanations about how is an extended day and how is going to school for an extra month going to make them more competitive in the global world?
Well, let me take the second question first, because I want to be clear. I haven't passed a law that everybody's got to go to school for an extra month. I was asked about this on the Today Show, and I made the observation, which is absolutely true, that most of our competitors, most other advanced countries, have their kids go to school about a month longer every year than we do. You know, the 3-month summer is a direct result of public schools having been started when most of us still lived on farms. And so you took 3 months off because you had to help on the harvest. But there's nothing, written in stone that says we've got to have the organization of the school year the way we have it. There is a law that studies show that kids lose something during that 3-month period. Poorer kids lose more during that 3-month period because they may not have as many books at home, supplemental activities. They may not be going to the museum or on field trips during the summer, and so they tend to lose more of what they've learned, and that's part of what contributes probably to the achievement gap and then falling behind. So I think it's important for states to look at what they're doing and finding ways that potentially kids don't lose ground compared to kids in China or South Korea or other parts of the country. Now, it's going to cost some money if we decide to make the school year long, because teachers and custodial workers, that means that they're working even longer than they're already working, and so we'd have to make some choices budgetarily. Keep in mind, though, that this is why the choice in this election is so important. I'll give you an example. During just a couple of months ago, we had a debate in the House of Representatives. The Democrats decided to, because they were worried about states laying off teachers, decided to close a corporate tax loophole that actually incentivized investment overseas instead of investment here in the United States. So they decided to close one of these loopholes. And that saved enough money to send several billions of dollars to the states so that they could keep their workforce intact. This is at a time, by the way, where there are states like Hawaii that had gone down to a 4-day-a-week school week because they couldn't afford to pay teachers for the 5th day. Now, I promise you, we can't compete against other countries if our kids are going to school 4 days a week. We can't compete if teachers are being laid off and classrooms get more crowded and teachers are having to dig more into their pockets for basic supplies in their classroom. But when we had this proposal, we could not get any Republicans to support this position. And, you know, they had the usual rhetoric about Obama's trying to kill business and raise taxes, et cetera. No, we're just trying to make sure that we're making investments in the long term for our kids, which will be good for business. Because businesses in this country aren't going to succeed if we don't have engineers and scientists and developing new products and so forth. So, I don't want to lose the votes of all your kids by saying that they need to be in school another month. I do think that we have to have a debate, state by state and local school districts, about making sure what we can do to ensure our kids keep up. Now, in terms of the issue that you raised about sort of middle class versus poor versus working class, my attitude is that everybody who is working hard, who's meeting their responsibilities, trying to raise a family, trying to send their kids to college, trying to retire with dignity and respect, trying to get health care, those folks, that's what it means to be middle class in this country. I mean, this is who Michelle and I came from. I mean, you know, I was raised by a single mom. I lived most of my formative years in an apartment that probably was smaller than this room right here. Living with my grandparents, and sometimes when my mother was, when I was living with her, it definitely was an apartment smaller than this. Michelle, her dad worked as a blue-collar worker for the city of Chicago, and he had multiple sclerosis, but he never missed a day of work. He never graduated from college. Her mom never graduated from college. And yet, somehow, they were able to, both of our families were able to give us the best education in the world. And we grew up to be President and First Lady. Now, that's what the American dream's about. So I don't make a distinction between middle class, working class, poor folks who are trying to get into the middle class. As long as you're working hard and trying to meet your responsibilities, trying to better yourself and your family, that's what the American dream's about. All the policies that we put in place have been designed to help those folks. So, if you are a working family, whether you're making, if your family income is $100,000 a year, or $50,000 a year, or $30,000 a year, if you've got a kid with a pre-existing condition and you can't get health insurance, because of health reform, that child is going to be able to get insurance. And if you can't afford it, because your boss doesn't offer health insurance, you're going to be able to be part of a big pool and buy the same health insurance that members of Congress get. Regardless of where you fall on that income spectrum, if you've got a credit card, then the new financial reform bill says credit card companies can't jack up your interest rates without letting you know. And they can't increase your interest rates on your existing balances. They can't run a bait and switch and say, you're on, this is 0% interest credit card, then you get $5,000 on your credit card and you get a letter saying suddenly interest is 29%. Can't do that. Mortgage brokers can't steer you into interest rates on buying a house that are more expensive than what you could have gotten because they're getting a kickback. A lot of the consumer protections that we put in place, they affect everybody out here. The student loan programs that we put into place, that impacts families, across the board because, again, whether you're making $100,000 or $50,000 or $30,000, if you're trying to send your kid to college, they're going to probably have to take out some debt. And what we did to take billions of dollars that were going to banks in unjustified subsidies, and us saying, no, we're going to give that money directly to young people in the form of more grants or cheaper loans, capping how much they're going to have to repay in college to 10% of their income, that helps everybody. So I think that what will make our economy grow is if this beating heart of our economy, the middle class folks who are working hard, pushing to improve their lot in life, if they're given some hands up to help them get to where they want to go, then I think our economy as a whole will do well.